We are talking Haunted, a generic sounding horror movie for a generic horror film. This one is also known as American Poltergeist 7 in Germany, and was originally, when it was being made, being known as Evil Hands. This one directed and co-written by Eros D'Antona. Now the story here focuses on this writer as he agrees to kind of watch his sister's house while his sister kind of goes away with her kind of young child, and he's going to kind of do some writing while he's there, and he's got to look after the cats, etc. And then while he's in this house, he starts to experience strange things. First, it's quite subtle, knocks on the door, that kind of thing, but then he kind of has these terrifying visions of a variety of ghostly apparitions and perhaps even a demon. So first of all, he enlists the help of his kind of dumbass friend, and then the help of a worldly demonologist to kind of try and defeat the evil that rests in this house. So what do we think of Haunted? So let's get the elephant out of the room first of all. This is actually an Italian movie passing itself off as trying to be American. So what do I mean? It's an Italian cast, it's Italian, for most part anyway, Italian crew. It is spoken in English language, but everyone has thick Italian accents. And I'll be honest, I found it quite hard to understand sometimes because I was only kind of really understanding maybe 2 out of 3 words. So you kind of sometimes lose where you're going, particularly in the beginning of the film. There's kind of certain characters, the sister in particular, is very hard to understand. So it does make it somewhat kind of hard to follow, and you feel like you're kind of losing things. I don't know why, if it's all an Italian cast, why don't they speak Italian and have it subtitled? But I think they're trying to kind of pass off that it's in America, because we see that the American flag kind of over the TV, and they're watching some kind of western on what's on television and stuff like that. So I think it's trying to kind of pass off that it's obviously in America, I believe. Anyway, so that's kind of a little bit jarring to begin with. Secondly, I feel because of they're not speaking in their native language, the acting I feel was a little bit weird at times. But that kind of goes hand in hand with the tone, because the tone is very bizarre in this film. Because you can really split it into day and night, and I literally mean that, because the scenes that take place during the day are somewhat comedic, particularly with our kind of central protagonist Max and his kind of friend who is literally always joking, and the scenes there are actually quite slapstick and sometimes actually funny. I will say that sometimes it does have actually a few kind of funny jokes and funny moments. But basically, when they go in the house and it becomes night, then it just goes into a full-on kind of dramatic horror. So you have this weird kind of like paradigm shift where you have these kind of two tones that just seem to kind of literally snap between day and night, and it makes it for a bizarre viewing experience. I've got to say, director as well, Eros D'Antona, is clearly influenced, I would say, by other directors here, maybe Sam Raimi, maybe even Edgar Wright. His kind of use of kinetic cameras and stuff like that I thought was actually quite good, but it's reminiscent of other people. What I will say is I feel the effects sometimes are actually pretty good. Now, you never see loads of these kind of like ghostly figures, they're all kind of like quick cuts, but I feel that's of benefit to this movie because obviously it's a low budget film. And I feel actually there are some quite good kind of effects here, both kind of makeup, and they do use some digital effects, but they're used so sparingly and so quickly, I don't feel it's too distracting for obviously this kind of level of movie. The main protagonist, Max, is an odd case because I don't think he's the best actor, but he's quite charismatic, and I did kind of like sometimes his kind of goofy kind of sense of humour and the way he kind of interacts with people actually makes it quite a kind of fun character, despite the fact that I feel his kind of reaction seems a little bit OTT, particularly in the beginning. You know, he'll see something go like Scooby-Doo basically, but it's kind of fun at the same time. It does end quite abruptly, this movie, I will say. The ending is okay, but it's kind of nothing going to kind of like blow your mind, and then a fairly kind of typical fashion. And that's the thing with this movie. It is not necessarily a bad film by any stretch of the imagination. I feel it's relatively competently made. I think the actual pace of it's quite good. I think the kind of the lighting and the camera work here is all pretty good. I think maybe the acting and the tone could do with some work, and you know there are a couple of other kind of small nitpicks here and there. but it's a serviceable kind of low budget haunted movie, but there's nothing really to kind of like make it stand out from the crowd. So overall, I'll kind of give it a 5 out of 10 because it's just a pretty much average straight to kind of video horror film basically. So if you kind of know what I'm talking about, you'll know exactly what you're getting with this movie. So 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Just leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.